Want to see how a brand is created completely from scratch? Well, in this series, I'm taking you behind the scenes as I create a brand completely from scratch and show you exactly how I do it. Right from the idea to creating the branding to putting it out there in the world, I'm going to show you every step of the way. And in today's video, we're going to look at the shipping packaging. So we're going to be doing a bit of unboxing. So I found with this stage of the branding that I needed to do a lot of research because I needed to see what is possible, the different ways of packaging, and then researching what's out there, what's actually available, what kind of packaging materials and boxes and things are out there that can be used, and so working out what's going to work. And then when I decided to go with certain types of boxes, trying to find the right sizes. So I did a lot of measuring and then looking at what sizes were available, trying to work out what would be the right size. So I ended up going with 3 different box sizes. So first of all, I picked this size, which is going to be for putting in more flatter items like the scrunchies, because at this size, with the width, they're able to go letter rate, which makes it a bit cheaper for shipping rather than putting in a full box. And I felt like by putting it in cardboard, it's sort of a bit stronger and sturdier and looks nicer, and it protects the product more than if I was to put it in some sort of satchel or some sort of plastic sleeve, that sort of a thing. So I think putting it in a cardboard box really adds to the experience. It looks nicer, but it also means that we're keeping it small so it can go at a cheaper rate. Because when you're selling smaller items, you really want to be sure that they're going for a smaller rate. You don't want to have the shipping costing almost as much or even more than the product. So it's important to try and keep the shipping down with smaller products. Then with bigger products, you can go for those bigger sizes. So I ended up going with 2 bigger box sizes. So this size fits the top knot headbands, and this size fits the braided bliss. And also it's a good bigger size for when people buy multiple items. So it also works for fitting in multiple items as well. So I think that those 3 sizes are going to meet most of my needs. If someone has a huge order, I might have to go out and get another bigger box. But I think generally for most orders, these 3 sizes are going to meet the needs for whatever people are going to buy. Now, in terms of how I'm actually wrapping it up in the box, I started off by looking at a book that I had on my bookshelf called Care Packages, because this book shows how you can box up and send off a beautiful parcel that's going to make someone feel special. And the whole idea with my branding is I want to make someone feel special and feel good. And so I thought, well, looking at this book might give me some ideas of how to make my packaging and, you know, how I wrap it up and ship it off look really nice in a way that's going to make someone feel good, almost like they're receiving a care package. So I had a bit of research, had a bit of a look at that, and it got me some ideas going. And then I was also looking around at what's available in terms of how can you brand your shipping packaging. And one site that I came across was No Issue, and I got their samples pack to have a look at the kinds of things you can do. Now, they've got these compostable mailers, and as I said, I decided that these sort of mailers weren't going to be suitable for what I wanted to do. Then we have this tape. So this tape is a way to brand your tape, and it's an alternative to having stickers on your packaging, because I started to notice that stickers can get quite expensive just for something small that you want to put on packaging. Well, of course, depending on your supplier and the quantity you're getting in that. But I actually thought that the tape was a nice way to add some branding in a way that was actually a bit more cost effective than individual little stickers. But this is something I ended up deciding to do, create a nice tape with my logo on it that I can put on the outside of the box. And I had looked at getting custom boxes made and all that sort of thing, and that's maybe something I want to do down the line. It's a big expense when you're just starting out and you're not sure how things are going to go. So I thought this is a really nice way to just add that branding touch to the outside of the box, and so when it arrives on someone's doorstep, they instantly notice that and they get excited, like, oh, it's arrived, I've got that parcel, and it just adds that branding element to it. And then of course we have stickers. So in the end I decided to have a sticker that goes inside the box rather than something on the outside, so something that seals it when I'm putting the tissue paper together and just sealing it up with that sticker. So something that just finishes off nicely and makes it branded when someone opens the box, and that's that first thing that they see. And then there's tissue paper. So they sent me all these cool samples of the way you can customize tissue paper, and that's a really fun way you can customize a package, is getting custom tissue paper done. And I decided, because things are starting out, that I'm feeling quite ready to take the leap of custom tissue paper, and maybe that's something that I will do eventually. But I decided instead to get creative with the tissue paper in other ways. So just using plain tissue paper, but putting it together in a more creative way. So the first idea, I was watching someone on Instagram and I just saw them unboxing something, and they had, the tissue paper had this cute scalloped edge. I was like, that's a really cool way of, you know, customizing just some plain tissue. So I went and bought these scalloped scissors, and they worked great on paper, but then when I finally came around to testing it on the tissue paper, they did not cut the tissue paper. It did not work out. So I ended up just manually cutting it in the scallop. So I'll still probably do further research down the line. I'll start off just cutting it out myself, but maybe down the line I'll find some better scissors for tissue paper, or maybe just, you know, do something completely different. But then also I wanted to add a little bit of pop of colour. So I'm cutting just a strip of blue tissue to put it in between that fold as it goes over. It just adds that fun pop of colour and a bit of customization in a way that isn't too expensive. So you can really get creative and do things that don't have to add this huge expense, but make it more fun and interesting and add that branded element to it. And then I also got this fun daisy hole punch to cut out some daisy shaped bits of paper that I can stick on it and make some little daisies as well. So I did look in, you know, like daisy stickers and things like that, and they were pretty expensive, people who had made daisy stickers. So I thought I can just make mine with this daisy cutter and just cut out some paper, maybe even cut out sticker paper if I want to do stickers. And that's just a really fun way of adding some extra branded elements to the packaging too. So then the other element I haven't talked to you about yet is the packing slip. So rather than just sticking in this random bit of paper, I decided to make it fun, and I'm going to include with it a colouring sheet. So it's sort of another thing that builds people up, makes them feel good, and also encourages them to take some time out for themselves. And so I've created this really fun colouring sheet that you get with your packing slip, and then I've put it all together in a really fun way where I put the packing slip in this spotted bag, then we've got the colouring sheet on top, and then using a cute coloured paper clip and adding another one of those paper daisies, and then on the outside of that colouring sheet putting a cute little note. So the whole thing just feels like this really fun experience rather than just shoving in a packing slip note, but we're making it really fun, making it exciting, and just adding to that unboxing experience when somebody opens it up. So the only thing I'm waiting on right now to share with you is the packaging tape. So it hasn't arrived yet, and I'm fingers crossed it's going to arrive soon so I can share that with you and add this to this video. Otherwise I'll have to share it with you another time. But it was just the last thing I was waiting for to arrive. And it can get a little bit tight with trying to create these videos every week, trying to make sure that I'm pushing forward with another element of the brand each week. And so keep in mind that, you know, this can be quite a long process if you want to do things properly. It can take a long time. You've noticed that this is several weeks trying to do all this, and you know, I really am doing this where I'm doing each thing each week. If you've got a lot of other things going on, it may stretch out even longer than this. And obviously too, you know, I've got a lot of experience in branding, so some of these things I can do quite quickly. Whereas if you're not used to doing that, it might take you a lot longer. And so keep in mind that when you're working on your own brand in this way, right from scratch, trying to do everything, that it's going to take some time, especially if you want to do it properly. And things will go wrong along the way. I've had some issues along the way. I've had things that go wrong. I've had, I accidentally put a sewing needle through my finger and then it got infected. And I also had, when I was trying to set up the shop website, which we'll be looking at next week, when I was trying to connect PayPal to it, PayPal wouldn't connect. It should have just been one quick click through, done, it's connected. But no, they decided that they needed to see ID and all this crazy stuff, and it took me all day to try and get it sorted out and get it working. It didn't make sense to me because I've had that PayPal account for 14 years and it's a business account, so I didn't know why. If I've been selling on an account for, you know, 14 years, buying and selling through this PayPal, why suddenly do they need my ID? But this stuff happens. Things don't always go smoothly, and you've just got to figure things out and keep going. Basically, realize that things are going to take time, things will go wrong along the way, but you've just got to keep going on. If you really believe in what you're doing and you're really excited about it, just keep pushing through and you will get there in the end. Don't give up because things go wrong and you think, oh, everyone else seems to have this smooth path that all goes perfectly for them. No, stuff goes wrong. It's all part of the process. hope you enjoyed seeing this and how I created the shipping packaging design for this brand, and I hope it got you inspired about how you might be able to up-level your shipping packaging and think about how you can add some branded elements in without adding too much extra expense, just getting a bit more creative with it. So next week we're going to start diving into setting up shop and getting that website up and running, so I'll see you then.